Okay, how about that? Do you have sound now? Now you should be able to hear me, and I think I should be all right. I think I should be all right now. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that super chat, my friend. That makes me feel a little better. I think it's working now. It doesn't look completely 100% smooth, but I think it's working. So there may be hope for this yet. Yay, 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 yay. Hang on a second here. This calls for a little sound effect. I need to put my headphones on so I can hear it. Wow. This is what it looks like when Mitch gets flustered. And let me turn the music off. Okay, here we are. I think I got all the buttons pushed right. Hey, 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 good to go. Man, don't do that to me again. Here I am worrying about power failures. And YouTube is screwing me up. I can't believe it. I don't know if it was YouTube, if it was something with, I have Bright House, which I'm not really crazy about, but it's been working. It's been working so far. Well, great. Got 25 of you back. I hope the rest of you will find that new live stream that I posted. And I'll tell you, that's a real panic situation. I mean, it's you do all this stuff and you still rely on other services to do their job. I rely on StreamYard to get it out there. The problem may have been with StreamYard. It's not on my computer here, because when you look at all my monitors, all the stuff that shows me that I'm moving in these two windows is moving fine. It was this window, which was actually playing the stream from the internet, that was screwing up. And I don't know. So let me catch up here for a second, catch my breath. I've been running. I got a metal roof on my house, so my cellular internet sucks in here. I went out on the back porch. I don't know if you guys managed to catch any of that or not. Tried to log into the stream from my cell phone out there on the porch. I don't know if that was working or not. Then I said, oh, to hell with this. I got to go in the house. I have to just actually recreate a whole new live stream, something to get the right thumbnails up there, to get the full description in the description box. That stuff takes time to do. And I usually do that early in the morning and get it all set up so that I can just come on here, play my music, say, hey, everybody, it's me, Mitch, and away we go. And away we didn't. Okay. I lost all the chat from the first live stream, so I can't say hello to everybody, but I can say hello to Tom and Tampa Viking. Glad to see you were on it. Creeping back up to 40 people, so people are figuring it out. Not everybody comes in right away anyway. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mitzi. Mitzi May says, you can walk and talk 3 miles with ease, but now you're flushed and rushed. Happier. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know what it is? It's more embarrassing than anything else when something like this happens. You know, it's like a stage performer when they're on stage in the middle of a play, all the lights go out or something bad happens, you get flustered. You get flustered. You took a few for it to post. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully people will find it. Hopefully everybody will find it. If they don't, they won't. Anyway, Tom, good to see you're here. Jeremy Daniels, welcome back. Thank you. Don Shunger, hello again. CB, how you doing, CB? Yes. My buddy Jody Drone Shots, how you doing, Jody? He's telling me I froze again. And Mama Cracker's here. How you doing? Heck, I thought I missed it. Yeah, everybody almost missed it. Steve Studley's here. How you doing, Steve? And there's Mitzi. Keep going. Okay, now you're telling me there's no sound and the video is freezing, and that was happening. I look forward to this all day. Well, that's nice. I'm glad to hear that. I look forward to it all day, too. Of all the things I do on YouTube, of all the talking into a camera, of all the editing, of all the answering comments, of all that, these live streams are the single thing I actually really look forward to. I can't wait, and I almost pace around in the 10 minutes beforehand, waiting for that 5-minute mark where I can actually go live. When I did that today, and the image popped up on my screen, and I saw that it was freezing like that in the monitor on my right, I said, "Oh no, what in the hell is going on here?" Oscar Rodriguez, how you doing? Mitch started moving but no sound. Yeah. I think when I decided to hit the be right back thing, I muted the mic. And Steve Studley says, "Where did Rosie go?" You know, I got an email from her yesterday. She said that they've been busy and they've been off, but she'll be back. So we're going to wait and see if indeed Rosie comes back. Mark C., how you doing? What Tom said, yeah. CB, Mitch invented a time machine and went back to the past and back with AOL Internet. Yeah, something like that. And I don't know, most of you have probably rebooted your internet routers at one time, and you know how long it can take when all those blinky lights have to start blinking one after another. So we finally got it. Anybody I haven't said hello to yet? Mark C., Viking, Drone Shots. Cam Pup is here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Boyd. Hi, Boyd. How you doing? Good to see you tonight. We have Satya Khalsa. How you doing? Phoenix, Arizona here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. And the thumbnail on that video is my default thumbnail if I don't upload a specialized thumbnail. So when this is all over, I will go in. When it starts the replay, I will put the right thumbnail in there, put the right description in there, make sure everything is set the way it's supposed to be for the replay. I do get, I would say over 1,000 views on these live streams as a replay. People that it's either a bad time for them, especially in Europe, but I'll have to do that right after the live stream ends. Who else? Jazzy Jude. I am Jazzy Jude is here. Tells me I'm awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here's somebody whose name I don't recognize. Linda Hoagman. How you doing, Linda? Welcome. Good to see you. We have Richard CDL driver. Welcome back. Thank you so much. And Naruto Kun is here. How you doing, Naruto? Good to see you. Sue Hall from Texas. Hiya, Sue. How you doing? Mark Davis. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. I'm glad you found your way in here because I got something special for you. It finally came. It came today. I'm going to hold it up. You remember, Mark, I promised you I was going to name my smoker after you because you were so kind as to basically fund that purchase for me, and it was greatly appreciated. And I told you I was going to get a plaque made. And I was going to name that the Mark Davis Smoker. I thought that might embarrass you a little bit, but I don't care. It means a lot to me. And I had this plaque made, and it's got a sticky back on it. And since I wasn't able, I didn't want to drag the whole smoker in here for the live stream. I haven't stuck it on yet. It came today. And it's a matte black finish with gold letters engraved on it. And it says, thank you. The Mark Davis Smoker. And I told you, till you tell me to stop, I'm going to keep referring to it as that. So thank you, my friend. I was hoping you'd pop in here. Anyway, who else we got next? We got Nomadia Van. That's another new name. I don't recognize that. Welcome. Welcome. Glad you found your way in here, even if it took a couple of tries tonight. And it appears that looking at my stream, it's working perfectly smooth now. I think it had to have been an internet thing that just so happened to hit me right at 8 o'clock. We have Steve Studley. I think I said hi to you. Lambs is here. How you doing, Lambs? Didn't get a new notification. Well, somehow that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. And Golf Addict is here. Spanky, how you doing, my friend? Says hi again. Yeah. Let's hope this is a one-off deal and doesn't happen to me again. I don't like it. Papa Carnivore is here. How you doing, my friend? He's back. Tina Cox from Clovis, California. Hi, Tina. The Feral Grandma is here. How you doing? And who else I haven't said hi to? Did I say hi to Jeremy Daniels? I don't think so. North Texas here. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. Jerry Vajdush is here from Ponte Vedra, Florida, I think. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Jerry. Peg Polverari. It's another new name I don't recognize. How you doing? Thanks for coming. My first time saying hello. I thought so. For an old guy, I have an okay memory. I have a terrible memory when it comes to, and I don't know how many of you can identify with this, but I have a terrible memory when I first meet new people in person, or somebody tells me their name. I say, hi, I'm Mitch. And they say, hi, I'm John. It's gone. It's gone. I try to remember it, but for some reason, it takes me 3 or 4 times of having some kind of interaction with a person before that name actually gets associated with that person. But in these chats, I seem to remember the names, and if I see one that I don't recognize, I usually think that, oh, this is some new person. Gary Straub is here, says, how you doing? Cliff. How you doing, Cliff Medina? You know, one of my best friends in life. Yeah, Shadow Band. I don't believe that's what it was. I believe it was just, I'm surprised that this whole internet thing actually works as well as it does, as complicated as it is, and as many gizmos are hooked to it, and as many switches and routers and data centers that these things have to go through to get from me to everybody simultaneously. It's a miracle to me that, and I understand because I was in the computer business, and that's what I did, networking infrastructure. I'm a certified network engineer, and I know how it works, which is why I'm so amazed that it keeps working. And I shouldn't be surprised when something like this happened. But Cliff, one of my best friends in life, was a fellow named Cliff. And when I had my computer business, I took my last name and stuck a co on the end of it, like for company, like Costco. And he had a company, and my nickname for him was Cliffco. And every time I saw him, hey, Cliffco, how are you? And you have no idea how many times that has almost come out of my mouth when I say hi to you on this stream. So if I do call you Cliffco, without even realizing it one night. You'll know the backstory. You'll know the backstory on that one. Karen Marie from Illinois, how you doing? How you doing? Thanks for coming. Good to see you. And who else haven't I said hi to? Oh, wow. I don't even know where oh yeah, here's my cell phone. Put it in my pocket. God. My cell phone has a clock on it, and that's how I know what time it is when I'm doing these streams. I set it up like a desk clock. So we have Karen. Where did you go, Karen? Okay. Richard Williams, coming in loud and clear now. Well, that's good. All that tells me that whatever was wrong was nothing on my end, nothing that I could have done to fix it. Rebooting an internet router is the last thing you can do if things aren't working. And since everything else on my local network is working perfectly, that was probably it. At any rate, I will remember tonight's live stream. Michael is here. Hi, Michael. Hey there, Mitch, living the airline lifestyle on the road. Man, I envy you. I know that I've known a lot of airline pilots in my time. I'm a pilot. My original aspiration back in the early 70s was to fly for the airlines. And I've told this story a few times. There were just no jobs back then. And it never panned out. But I never got my ATP license, but I got everything else, including flight instructor, instrument flight instructor, all that stuff. And I taught flying for a while, and aviation has been a part of my life, both real aviation. I've owned a lot of airplanes, model aviation. And I always just wanted to be an airline pilot. I always envied those guys at the airport. And the ones I knew used to say to me, be careful what you wish for. I suppose I'll never know. But Michael, tell me what you fly. Tell me what equipment you fly. Be interested in knowing that. Oh, okay, Jerry, I won't say hi to you for the third time then. No problem. And here's one I haven't seen before. Huguette Bourgeois. Huguette is here. Wow. Wow, wow. What a name. What a name. And let me tell you real quick. I see some questions going by in the chat. I see the QQQs. And as soon as I get done saying hi to all of you, I'll get to them. I'm not going to ignore them. If you've been here before, you know I have a way of searching them out. Anyway, Huguette, welcome. Lori Weitzel from Ontario, Canada. Hiya, Lori. Good to see you tonight. It's another Kenneth Donaldson. Hello, Mitch. I'm Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. I'm Mitch. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for coming. Here's a question for Mark Davis. I'll answer it now. Do you still use iodine drops, and if so, how often? Mark, I take 1 drop of 2% Lugols in my coffee every morning when I remember it, which usually turns out to be four or 5 mornings a week. And that's 1,500 microgram dose. And you can't overdose on iodine if you do that every day. A lot of people don't do it at all. I don't think that if I miss a day or two a week, it's going to hurt me. But I do it. I do it just as a prophylactic measure, just to say, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. People say, you think it'll help? I say, couldn't hurt. And sometimes you do things proactively like that, just in case. That's why I take a little vitamin D. Of all my blood tests, the only one that I really wasn't thrilled with was my vitamin D level. I had the blood test done in December, right in the middle of the winter, wasn't getting a lot of sun. I was still within what they call normal range, but at the lower end. So I started taking a small dose. Some of you guys keep telling me I need to be taking mega doses of vitamin D. I did a little research. I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet because I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. And that is the best indicator of everything. A better indicator than blood tests and all the other stuff you do is just how you feel, how much energy you have. When you have a lot of energy and you have good endurance and you can keep going and you feel good and you don't have pain, that means your little mitochondria are churning out ATP. They're making energy. They're making energy. I saw a video today from a doctor who I hadn't seen before, and he was talking about the damage that statins do. And it turns out that by lowering, and it's a convoluted, and it involves a bunch of different metabolic pathways, and I won't get into the names of those or all that deep down the rabbit hole chemistry. But basically, if you limit the amount of cholesterol, you are affecting 4 or 5 different areas of your body and other parts of metabolism. And one of the things that a lower cholesterol limits is the production of an enzyme called CoQ10, coenzyme Q10. It has many uses in the body, but the main use, here we go, we're going to get into some chemistry here, Mark. The main use of CoQ10 is part of the electron transport chain in the mitochondria, what they call oxidative phosphorylation. It is a carrier between the different complexes. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as ubiquinone. It is a major player in the production of energy in the mitochondria. One of the big side effects that people on statins have is they're always complaining about being tired and having low energy. And this guy pointed out that symptom generally doesn't manifest itself until after a month or two of taking these statins. And if it happens, if it takes a month or two to really start to show up, and that side effect of being tired, lackluster, limited energy, nobody really looks at it and associates it with the taking of the statins, because people have been taking them for a month and haven't been tired. So they say, well, it's obviously not them. And doctors don't look at it. Most doctors, believe it or not, the little bit of biochemistry I just spouted out here off the cuff, most doctors, by the time they get out of med school and start practicing medicine, have long forgotten that basic bit of basic biology that they learned in med school 101, biology 101. They've forgotten it. It doesn't play an active role in how they diagnose things or what drugs they prescribe. They've forgotten it. But when the CoQ10 levels start to be affected, because the precursor evidently for those is cholesterol, like it's the precursor for hormones. That's why a lot of men on statins end up with ED, because their testosterone is tanking, because cholesterol is also the precursor for testosterone. Cholesterol is also a major player in our immune system. And cholesterol's most important job in the human body is in the brain, which is where the most and the largest use of cholesterol in our body, besides in the cell walls. And that's one of the reasons that so many people these days are having early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, and those things. And it's all because our bodies are furiously trying to make this cholesterol that we need, and they're trying to make it for a reason. And here we come along and blame it for causing heart attacks. That's wrong. We've known it's wrong. It's just so frustratingly maddening that nothing changes in the medical community. Nobody's stopping people on statins. They're still hanging on to that. The only thing that I need to know about you to tell if you're healthy is your LDL level. That's stupid. That's stupid. Anyway, there's another little down the rabbit hole biochemistry lecture. And it's important. But Mark, you asked about the iodine. Yes, I take it. And the reason I take it is because I know that we're just not getting enough iodine in the foods we eat because the soil's been raped. It's not in the ground. It doesn't get into the grass. Therefore, it doesn't get into the cow. Therefore, it doesn't get into us. And so many symptoms happen when you don't get enough iodine. It's one of the things Ken Berry harps on a lot, and it's one of the main areas I have that I agree with him. Anyway, thank you, Jeremy Davis. Thank you so much. Just want to say thank you, Mitch. You're doing great things. If you have haters out there, I don't think I have too many haters. I think the people that are obnoxious hate everybody. I think they hate life, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I see Tammy Patarch is here. How you doing, Tammy? And Chelsea Oates, good to see you. John Bassett. Mitch, question. You mentioned the first 30 days to eat whenever you're hungry. What do you do after 30 days? I have a video about that, and I probably should make more videos on those things. Very few people watch the old videos. And, in a video that I made the other day, I said, we YouTubers, and I got this kind of verified by another YouTuber that's having the same problem I'm having, and that is you get a couple of really lousy comments, it ruins your day. People say, be tough, be strong, and I said, I am who I am. Things bother me. I don't like to be insulted, disrespected by people who know nothing, especially don't know me. And we tend to think, well, why are you asking me that? I answered that question 4 months ago. And we sometimes forget that half our audience at any given time is like, just discovered us. Most of the people that'll watch me, when I get a video that runs a little bit, it has 4, 5, 10,000 views. Most of those people, this is my introduction to them. If they happen to watch one of my rant videos, they're going to say, oh, shit, I don't want to listen to this guy. He's a real downer, When they watch one of my cooking videos, they say, hey, this guy has some great recipes. I want to watch this guy. At any rate, I have so many different kinds of videos. No wonder people get all kinds of different impressions. And that may be why they leave some of these lousy comments. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you've gotten to know me like a friend. I've gotten to know a lot of you like a friend. Let me answer this question from John here. John says, where is his question? Here it is. You mentioned for the first 30 days. Okay, what do you do after the first 30 days? Okay, you make it through the first 30 days. Now it's time to become a carnivore. Now it's time to start time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting. Now it's time, and it's time because you probably aren't going to be as easily diverted by your cravings and addictions. Now you start to do like I do. You have 2 meals a day, or 1 meal a day, or 3 meals a day, whatever you need. It depends on how much food you need, how big you are, and what it takes to satisfy you. But you try to do all your eating within a 6 to 8 hour period at most. Now, for me, it's a 4 to 5 hour window. I have my first meal generally at around 11 o'clock. And after that, I'll eat at 3 or 4. And I'm done for the day. I don't snack. When I eat a meal, I let that meal digest. I don't add more food. When I wash my clothes, I don't add more clothes to my washing machine when it's halfway through the cycle. Same thing with a dishwasher. Our digestive cycle is just that. It's a cycle. But after 30 days, start being a carnivore. Start listening to me and others when they tell you what foods to eat and how much of them to eat. Eat to satiety. And if you have to eat a lot of food, keep eating it. If that's what it takes to keep knocking down the cravings. But eventually, you have to figure out how much food you think you need a day. For me, because I'm 138 pounds, I get by with about 2 pounds of food a day. I make sure I get plenty of fat. And that's why I eat bacon and eggs almost every day, because that's a high-fat meal. So I may have a steak, or I may have some ground beef for dinner or some fish, but that's not going to have as much fat in it as those bacon and eggs do. And the fat is what triggers the satiety hormones that tell you, you had enough to eat. And you have to experiment a little bit. But don't worry about how much you eat that was necessary to keep you from falling prey to your cravings. Shouldn't be as hard to do now after 30 days. So that's what I would suggest you do, John. And just let me know how you're doing, and email me if you have any specific questions. Be happy to answer them for you. We have John Bassett. Hi, Mitch. Loving your programs. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We have Firefly here. Wanted to order a dash cam and use your link to order magnesium and added the camera. Yeah, I do get credit for that stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. It's really funny for me because I get a report from Amazon of everything that was ordered through my links, and I go down it, and it starts with the thing there's the most of at the top, like air fryer. This air fryer. 146 of them, some, you guys bought. I said, wow, look at that. And then it goes to the, 6 of these, 5 of those, 4 of those, and you go page after page after page. And there's tons of stuff, because it's not always the few links that I have, it's the stuff you buy at the same time too. And then I get down to where it's quantity of 1. And I look at some of these things, and I know for a fact that I don't have links to those, so I know that you're doing that, and that's very gratifying to me that you do that and you think about me. Appreciate it. You have no idea. You have no idea. That actually makes it possible for me to do YouTube. It's a shame that Google doesn't pay us that much, and they may. If I ever get to 100 or 200,000 subscribers, I could probably make a okay living just on the ad revenue. But that's why so many YouTubers do the link in the description thing or take sponsorship. You have to. They have to. These are people working, putting full-time hours and more in, and have to make a living. Have to make a living. Now, once you get to huge YouTube territory, you get to the 1 million+ subscriber mark, you're making Maserati money from Google. But you got to really have something. You got to be a Mr. Beast. Neistat, one of those kind of guys. I'll never get there. I'll never get there. Anyway, Firefly, thanks so much for that. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that I did get credit for that. And let's see who else I got here. I'm hitting the questions here too, so I'm just going to keep going down in this chat where I can put it up on the screen. Tabby, Mama Cracker, Cliff says high cholesterol is associated with longevity. Yes, it is. Assuming, and there's a big assumption there, Cliff. High cholesterol for everybody is not a good thing. The key factors are, it's a good thing when you're metabolically healthy, when you're insulin sensitive, when you have a good HDL to triglyceride ratio, when everything's working right, that high cholesterol is so beneficial. But if you're a diabetic and you have triglycerides out of sight and you have hypertension and you have all these other chronic illnesses caused by a lifetime of sugar and seed oil poisoning is what it amounts to. No, that high cholesterol isn't going to help you. Most often, that high cholesterol is being oxidized and glycated, becoming small, dense particles, which are harmful. So when you have the big, what they call big fluffy cholesterol, and everything else is in line, your body's working like it's supposed to. And that cholesterol can do what it's supposed to do. It's not getting damaged. That's why having a test where they do your particle size or particle count actually means more than just an HDL, LDL test. But at any rate, that's that, Cliff. And then Steve is here. Hi, Steve. No oil and water, no poop. Thanks for that, Steve. But you're correct. You're correct. And here's one that I haven't talked. Charger Mopar, how you doing, Rick? Good to see you. What do people have? Why do people have to be mean? It is a form of mental illness. You know, some people are sadists. They like to hurt people. Other people are masochists. They like to be hurt. Reminds me of an old joke. Excuse me. Sadist runs into a masochist. Masochist says, hurt me, hurt me. Sadist says, no. If you don't get that, let it sink in. I am Jazzy Jude. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. I started BBB and E plus dairy for the month of July. My first rat attempts to eat. I think you've been voice typing here. To eat long cabinets, I don't think that means anything to me. The last day, I feel amazing. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. In fact, I have a YouTube folder in your name only. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Google evidently didn't do such a good job of translating what you said into your chat. I know I use that answering comments. That's why I answer comments on my cell phone, because I like to use the voice chat, and I end up spending more time going back correcting the errors, respelling the names, capitalizing the things that should be, uncapitalizing the things that it capitalizes for no reason. Sometimes I think it'd be quicker just to type it. Just to type it. Jeremy, then, people don't like to see people. What was that? People just don't like to see people be happy and succeed. Yes, it is a shame. People like bad news better than good news. It elevates them. People like to go to NASCAR and see car crashes and ambulances. That's just, I think it's a normal human thing. You know, what do they say? There but for the grace of God go I. You know, people have that. I think we all have a little of that in us, but that's not an excuse to be an a-hole. Ribeye Ranger, I love that name, man. That is fabulous. Hey, Mitch, howdy from Liberty Hill, Texas. And in Texas, being a ranger means everything. Mark, thank you so much, Mark. I have bought just last week over $700 through your links, but not the actual product you link to. Keep a lookout to see if you still get paid. I buy the iodine you have linked. Thank you, Mark. I must be getting paid on that stuff, because there's so much. I don't know who bought what, because it's just a big long list. But it's fabulous. Some of the oddball stuff that I see in there. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate the effort. I really do. I really do. John Bassett says, thanks, Mitch. Starting month 3, I still eat too often, so the cravings are not completely gone yet. Well, it depends on what you're eating. If you're just eating the carnivore stuff, it'll get better. It'll get better. It took me, and again, that's why I didn't say my disclaimer and all that mayhem of starting this stream tonight, but it took me probably over a year until one day I noticed I stopped thinking. I stopped thinking about the foods that I was addicted to. They never entered my mind. I could see them, and no feelings whatsoever or desire to have them was there anymore. It was at least a year before that happened. It took that long. It took that long for my body to finally, in my mind, finally reconcile the fact that I wouldn't die in 10 minutes if I didn't eat sugar. I could go into a long and probably easily understood explanation of exactly the psychology of cravings. I don't hear people talking about this stuff. I've never read this stuff. This is just stuff that I figured out on my own that makes sense and can't be anything else, because everything that happens has to have a reason. Something has to be driving it. Everything that happens in our bodies. A craving is, for some reason, somewhere in our subconscious mind, we think that if we don't have sugar, it's an immediate need. And after having lived so many years on sugar, being a sugar burner, knowing that that's the primary fuel that we live on, back in our ancient genetic memory is why we have the pathways to even metabolize sugar, and that is it was emergency survival food. It was a last resort effort to keep alive until the fat and the meat came along again. Our ancient ancestors only ate small amounts of sugar over very short periods of time, and only when they were like getting close to starving to death, because they were fat burners. They didn't have sugar cravings like we do. Their bodies never got used to sugar as a primary fuel, a never-ending, endless supply of sugar in every store, constantly, 24/7. No fear of ever not being able to get sugar. Our cravings come from the fact that when we start running low on sugar, and sugar burns quick, blood sugar drops quickly, especially when you have too much insulin. And we've so screwed up our fat burning pathways that they've forgotten how to even burn fat, which is why it's so hard to lose weight. Our subconscious panics. It needs sugar, and it needs it now. And it controls us, and that craving hits our mind and becomes the main focal point of that particular minute. And by God, we're gonna get some friggin' sugar. And I'm telling you, that's why. And it takes a long time. Now, you can reduce your cravings by 80, 90% after the first 30 days, but for them to completely disappear, you gotta stick with it. Just no carbs. No carbs. Tonight, I'm celebrating 2 days early my 2-year carniversary. I have not had a carbohydrate, not a gram of sugar, fiber, seed oils, grains, plant material, nothing since August the 1st, 2022. My cravings don't exist anymore. They are gone. I never feel deprived. I love this food. My body knows that this food is there every day. No need to worry. No need for emergency food, survival food. It takes that long for you to adjust to that. So It's just another one of the hard facts that people don't want to think of. Everybody wants the quick fix in this world. The magic pill doesn't exist. So, yes, your cravings are not completely gone. They may not be, but they should be manageable if you do the things you need to do. Keep them out of your sight. Try to stay away from people eating them. I told you in many videos that this is not just about what you eat. This is a complete change in your whole life. Everything you used to do for entertainment is going to have that stuff in your face all the time. You have to learn how to handle people to keep fostering it on you. It ain't easy. It's worth it, though. And that's why so few of, like Ken Berry's got 3 million subscribers. How many of those 3 million people do you think today are like me and can say, in 2 years, I haven't eaten not a blueberry? Not many of them. Not many of them. It's a exclusive club. And God, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You get to live. You get to really live. It's incredible. I still marvel that I actually was able to do it. I was able to do it. So, hang in there, my friend. Hang in there, my friend. Here's a question. Mark's got another question. The bacon and eggs probably helps you. Yes, it does, Mark. It's got plenty of fat in it. That's all. The bathroom stuff is something we all talk about. We talk about it because it's a great gauge of whether you're getting enough fat. My digestive tract was so bad. Diverticulosis. My colon was probably looked like a punching bag from the inside out. Stretched out. I was constipated all the time. Taking fiber, like they said, which just makes it all worse. And it took quite a while, but it finally completely straightened out. I don't even think about that anymore. If I go 2-3 days without, it doesn't bother me. I don't think about it. I don't feel bloated at all. I know that most of what I'm eating is being used, very little of it going into the garbage chute. And it just works. And it works. It absolutely just works. And yes, the bacon and eggs, because of the high fat content, I'm sure keeps it going. Again, just to summarize, if you're constipated, eat more fat. If your stools are loose or you have diarrhea, you're getting too much fat. This, after you get over the initial adaptation of a month or so. And that should help you out. Oh, here's Ellen. Oh, yeah, you're back. Yes, I'm back. I went away for a little while tonight. Thank you, whoever was responsible for that. But good to be back. Good to be back. We only screwed up about the first 15 minutes of it. Ellen saying hi to everybody here. Somebody I haven't said hi to yet. Jimmy Potts, how you doing, Jimmy? Howdy, Mitch and friends. Good to see you. I'll just keep going down this the way I'm going. Carl Fabian, hello from Georgia. I get tired of eggs, but I love bacon. Any different ideas for breakfast? Well, I don't really eat breakfast. I eat a first meal of the day and a second. I say breakfast because, yes, I'm breaking a fast of 18, 19, 20 hours. But to me, breakfast always meant first thing in the morning. For me, it's more like lunch. I don't eat by the clock, but I do try to maintain a schedule. And my hunger, I never get really famished. I never get amazingly hungry at all. If I missed the whole day of eating, I wouldn't give it a second thought, especially if I was busy. But I do get to the point where I say, I could eat. And that's about as hungry as I ever get. Now, once I start eating, once I get start to get the juices flowing and the digestive cycle ramps up, yeah, then I eat with vigor. But the first couple of bites are like, yeah, I could eat. And as far as eggs go, I never get tired of eggs. I don't know why, just never do. And I only eat them one way, in a hard omelet. I don't like any other kind of eggs. If you like eggs, try a different, try over easy one day, hard boiled the next. But eating a lot of eggs, I think, is a real benefit of doing carnivore. And I think it's really a great food. Certainly got a lot of nutrition in it. Here's another great name, pan-seared ribeye. Try living without cholesterol. You can't live without cholesterol. You'd be a pile of dust. You'd be dead. And these lunatics think that the ultimate objective is an LDL of 0. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it keeps the food and the drug companies in business. They want us to be sugar burners. They want us to have these chronic conditions. Anybody who tells me they don't know what the hell they're doing is naive. They know exactly what they're doing. They have the top scientists, the top biochemists working for them, working to fine-tune how addictive their foods are every day, just like the cigarette manufacturer. Whoa, wait. They were the same guys. When the cigarette companies bought the food companies, they all moved. Okay, guys, here's your job description. You know how your job was to make cigarettes so addictive people couldn't stop? Learn what you can about human biochemistry as far as sugar goes. This is your new job. Engineer the food. And then we'll brag about it in our commercials, and we'll tell these people, we bet you can't eat just one, and we'll laugh when we do that, and we'll make a fortune. And the drug companies will be just bringing up the rear with their drugs to fix all the problems we're creating. What a world. And it's a shame. It's a shame, but that's what matters. That's what matters. Ricky Lee, haven't seen you tonight. Welcome. What's happening, Mitch? You missed the excitement. You missed the excitement, which is why the thumbnail on this screen looked so strange. It was a steak. I'm going to go down here. I saw we got, wow, look at all the chat. And Mark, thank you, Mark. Mark says, I'm thinking about buying beef bones from the butcher and pressure cooking them to make some beef broth. That should be yummy for my tummy. Yes, Mark. You're actually making bone broth when you do that. Something I've never done. I've never made bone broth, and I need to do it. And if you have an Instant Pot, that's perfect for that. Or a slow cooker. I haven't made one yet, and I probably should if I want to be able to call myself a carnivore YouTuber. There's hundreds probably of YouTube videos out there of how to make bone broth. Some people throw everything but the kitchen sink in. Not only do they throw beef bones in, they throw chicken bones, everything in there, everything they possibly can, and make the bone broth. And that's rich in fat from the marrow. It's rich with collagen and connective tissue. It's supposed to be tremendously healthy, and yet I've never made it. I need to put that down as something that I need to do. I think I need to make bone broth. I think I acknowledged everybody's super chat so far tonight. Let me make sure. Bear with me a minute here. Let me go over here. I can make this chat on this window show me just the super chats. I am Jazzy Jude. I got you, John Bassett. I got you and Jeremy Daniels. I got you. Thank you guys so much. And there's one more at the end, which I'll get to here pretty soon. Anyway, Mark, I would encourage that. I need to do it myself. I need to make a video about it. Tanya Stefan, haven't seen you tonight. Try being a chef in a German restaurant. Well, you know, I was stationed in Germany, and you can, they love steak, filet steak. They love that. I mean, I used to get steak all the time over there, but they like spätzle. They like potatoes in their potato salad. They like Wiener Schnitzel. And, you know, the veal is good, but it's the breading. They put breading on everything. They love their bread and pretzels. My God, I was hooked on those big soft pretzels. Yeah, it's tough. I can imagine it's tough if you have to cook all that stuff. Knuckles says, day 3 of carnivore again. Yeah, I know what you mean. And my head is killing me. Well, I can just tell you, hang in there. Hang in there. I don't know if you quit coffee too, but sometimes just quitting coffee will give you awful headaches for a few days. Pardon a few seconds of silence here while I glance at the chat. Guys, you guys interact a lot with each other, and it's very gratifying to see that. And you guys do chat a lot. Here's somebody I haven't seen yet. Cheryl Huskins. Hi, Cheryl. She said, there's a grass-fed rancher 9 miles away from me. Ordered meat for the first time today. Found GF in my freezer from them and ate it this week. Noticeable difference. Yes, you are. You're very lucky. I have never found a local rancher where I could buy half a cow or a quarter of a cow. And interestingly enough, I bought so much meat and vacuum sealed it and froze it last year that I'm just now, last night I had a ribeye from last April 2023 that I got on one of those public sales. And I still probably have 30 or 40 ribeyes in the freezer out there. And I've decided that since it's hurricane season, and since if I have to evacuate, even with that, you know, I won't be able to take the freezer with me. And I've been working on ways to survive power failures, but I figured I'll wait till later on, after most of the hurricanes are gone, before I start stocking up my freezer again. So it'll probably be in the fall when I'll actually go on a beef buying binge again. And I just need to eat up what I have. It's perfectly good. The one I had yesterday was fabulous. I sous vide it, seared it in butter in a carbon steel pan. It was delicious. But yeah, if you can get that kind of stuff, you're much better off, much better off. Linda G really has a question. Holy cow, Linda. I am diabetic, but not enough to take meds, and my doc gave me statins for cholesterol, so I can't stop statins because of type 2 diabetes. Not a doctor. Not a doctor. But that's the most bullshit I've ever heard in my life. That is absolutely the worst advice I have ever heard. And I'm going to direct you to a Ken Berry video that he put out today. Look for it. And Ken Berry today talks about what's really causing the highest risks of heart attacks. And it's not cholesterol. Cholesterol is at the bottom of the list. At the top of the list of what's causing heart attacks is type 2 diabetes. By orders of magnitude. One thing has got nothing to do with the other. Statins do nothing to help you get rid of diabetes. Only avoiding carbohydrates in your diet can do that. So, Linda, I would suggest, and don't take my word for it because I'm not allowed to give you medical advice, but I would suggest that you watch that video from Ken Berry, who is a doctor. Your doctor has no idea how it works. If you are taking statins for primary prevention, and that means, for the same reason I take iodine, not to treat thyroid issues, but to be proactive. If you're taking statins because somebody told you your cholesterol was too high, but you've never had a heart attack or any coronary disease or any indications of that, then you're taking it for what they call primary prevention, which means you don't need it. It's only hurting you. Statins actually double the risk of getting type 2 diabetes. It may be the statins themselves that are keeping you a diabetic even though you're trying to eat the right stuff and avoid the carbs. I know you can't go into your doctor and say, Doc, where the hell did you learn this? And I know you don't know enough about the biochemistry to be confident enough. If that was my doctor, right before I fired him, a few choice words would come out of my mouth, and one of those would be, don't be surprised if there's a complaint filed to the medical board, because what you're doing, Doc, is malpractice. They don't know it. Unfortunately, the government doesn't know it. The medical schools don't know it. Nobody knows it these days. And what they're doing to you is proof that nobody knows it. So I can't tell you to stop taking the statins. I can only tell you where to go and find out more about it. I really hope that answers your question. That's a very, very, very important subject. Something I talk about, but the first thing I start getting is, what are your credentials, Mitch? You didn't go to medical school. You're not qualified to talk about that stuff. You don't know anything. And I, take that. Okay, I don't know anything. Meanwhile, I'm 30 years older than you and a hell of a lot healthier, but I guess I don't know anything. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's maddening. It's maddening. It's criminal. It's corruption at the highest level. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Am I passionate about this? No, not really. Oh, man. And Ellen says hi to you. Hope that makes you feel better. Ricky Lee, thank you so much, my friend. Very nice to have you. Super sticker. I appreciate it. And on that super sticker, which you can't see here, was a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Here's somebody I haven't said hi to yet. Steve Rogers, my favorite. Appetizer while cooking my meat and eggs is Braunschweiger. I'm glad you like that stuff. I doubt I could bring myself to eat it. But I've always been a fussy eater. Am I getting near the bottom of the chat yet? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I haven't missed any of your questions. I'm going to go back to the top of this chat here, and I'm going to go into the search, and I'm going to type QQQ. Richard's Richard CDL driver, and I can't put these on the screen because they're not in the chat that I see from StreamYard, which controls the actual stream itself. But I am monitoring, in case you've forgotten. This is my StreamYard window right here. And even though it shows white on there, this is where the chat is. And if I take my mouse and I click on a link in this, you see it pops up on the screen. It just turned blue when it's highlighted. And when I click on it again, it goes away. But this is the chat that you're seeing. And I can search through that, but when I can't click on that and make it appear in the screen. One of these days, we're going to figure out a way to make this easier. So I found the first one. It's from Richard CDL Driver. Have you ever tried to make bacon in one of your air fryers? I did once. If I had to make just a ton of bacon at one time, if I was just starting carnivore and I wanted to make sure I had a whole bunch of cooked bacon on hand for those times when I got a craving and needed to eat something, I might actually use an air fryer for bacon. Makes great bacon. There's so many ways to make bacon. Ken Berry's got a method where they just cook it in a big pot. And what happens is, as it starts to render the fat out, it starts to deep fry in its own fat down at the bottom of the pot, and you can end up with a huge pot full of it. The thing about an air fryer is you gotta, it's not hard to clean, but you still gotta clean them. And since I don't make big batches of bacon, I use my frying pan, my Mueller 12-inch frying pan. And I found they also have a 10-inch one that costs $20. I put a link to that on my Amazon links page too. My son pointed that out. He wanted to get a 10-inch frying pan, and I had a 10-inch stone ceramic frying pan in there, but that evidently had been discontinued by that company. So we found the Mueller one, which is identical to the 12-inch, which everybody loves, and I love. It's my favorite frying pan to cook eggs and bacon in. And that's how I do it. I do it because there's no cleanup. I pour some of the bacon grease into one of those grease catcher things. I leave half the grease in the pan. I cook my egg, my omelet in it. It soaks up all the grease. And when I take the egg out, the pan is, for all intents and purposes, clean. There's no grease left in the pan. There may be a few little errant burnt crumbs from the bacon, but I never even wash that pan. You just wipe it out with a rag or a paper towel, with a dish towel or a paper towel, and just has a very thin coating of a little bit of bacon grease on it, which is perfect, which is fine. A lot of people that use cast iron pans always never wash them. You don't want to get them wet. They might rust if they're not seasoned real well. So you just make sure they're coated with a little grease when you set them up. Now, I wouldn't leave them sit for 2 years that way before you use them, but if you're going to use them, within a few months, any animal fat will sit and not spoil in a month or two. You can leave bacon grease out for a month or two, and it won't go rancid. You leave a seed oil out in the air, it's rancid within hours. Have you ever noticed when you fry things in animal fats, your house doesn't stink as bad 4 hours later? When you fry something in vegetable oils, in canola or corn oil, that fried food smell it just gets on everything, and stinks. And your house smells like a greasy spoon diner. So many of those vegetable oils are actually spoiled and oxidized and rancid before you even pour them out of the bottle. It's bad stuff. Bad stuff. So that's your question. I have done it in the air fryer. It comes out great. Makes too much of a mess because I'm only cooking 4 strips at a time. I don't want to have to wash the pan and the basket out. of the air fryer. That's why I don't make it in the oven as well. Some people have told me make it in the oven too. I said, sorry, I have my method, and I can make my bacon and eggs, and I have 1 minute worth of cleanup. I have to wash out the mixing thing that I beat the eggs in, and a few pieces of silverware and a plate. That's it. I love it. I hate to clean up stuff. I just do. Hope that answers your question. Golf Addict says after that, Mitch, 138 pounds of dynamite. That's me. That's me. So let's see. The next question down the line here is, that was Mark Davis's question about the bathroom. And the next question, where is the next question? I am Jazzy Dude. When you go for your walks, what gadget are you using to extend your phone out to videotape? I don't use my phone. Not using a cell phone. Very rarely. Do any of my videos have do I use a cell phone to capture them? I have a selfie stick with a action camera. It could be the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It could be a GoPro, but most of the time I use the Insta360 360-degree camera on the end of the stick, and the camera makes the stick invisible. Not only that, but it lets me, in editing, zoom all around. Why am I still looking at the back of my head? I tell you, sometimes I'm just asleep at the switch here, guys. Sorry, I get going. I just noticed that you were looking at the back of my head. How rude is that? Why didn't somebody tell me? Well, you might have told me, but I've been trying to answer questions. Flustered. I shouldn't get flustered. But I do. At any rate, yeah, that's how I do that. And I made a video just last week. I made a video showing exactly how I do that with that camera, because everybody asks me that question. You're certainly not the first. And I answered that question from Linda G with the 3 different Qs, and there's the air fryer question. Okay, I think I got all the QQQs. I just noticed that Mark Davis gave me another super chat. I want to acknowledge that. And there's Mark Davis, 150. Thank you so much, Mark, man. Geez, what else? I'll name something else after you, because you're helping fund all the stuff I buy to keep this channel going. I really appreciate it. Thanks to your video, I now know you only get 2/3 of the super chat. So I also buy you coffees, but I'm afraid if I buy you too many, you'll pee your pants. I saw that, Mark. I saw that. I always write a reply when somebody buys me those coffees. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's better. I don't mind. Honestly, don't mind that Google takes money. Honestly, I've gone over this before. I've said it many times. I said, I don't mind. More often than not, it's my viewers that don't like it, that they don't mind. But the way I look at it, and the way most YouTubers look at it, if they allow people who give them a service to earn something in return, the platform that we have here on YouTube, anyway, Mark, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. The platform we have on YouTube, and what opportunity that it gives us, and the audience that Google has, the billions of people around the world that use this platform, with all its faults, so far exceeds any other possible way I could even do this and reach all of you that I've reached. If not for YouTube, it would not be possible for me. There's Rumble, there's Facebook Live, there's Twitter, there's all kinds. None of them have, I can't even give you a percentage, but I would say none of them have 5% of the reach when it comes to videos, live streams like this. The amount, the sheer volume of terabytes of stuff that I can upload for free. For free. No charge. No cost to me to use a window to the world with billions of a built-in audience, that they'll push my videos to people that have never seen them or asked for them if my videos seem to fall in the genres of interest that you people have. I would never have found most of you, and you would never have found me, if not for the fact that I didn't have to pay Google an enormous amount of money like an advertiser does. The fact that they give me that shot for free, knowing that if I succeed, and this is why, despite all the complaining, they do help us succeed. It's in their best interest that we succeed. No cost, no charge. They get their ad revenue. I get a small piece of that. Fine. They get their 30% of Super Chat. Fine. More power to them. I may be one of the few YouTubers that's reasonable enough to say thank you to them. May I have another. Without that, without them, there's no way I could do this. I could not host my own website on my own servers. I couldn't buy the bandwidth that it takes to push this video out even to 100 people, let alone the bandwidth it takes to push it out to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people simultaneously when there's a big event. You need data centers for that. Those data centers cost billions and billions of dollars, not only to build, but to maintain and power. So I don't know how strongly I can say this. I don't begrudge them a penny of anything that they earn on my efforts, because they've given me the theater where I can do my thing. So that's my honest. Now, if they took like 70%, I'd be pissed. But 70-30 ain't bad. It ain't bad. Anyway, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for that. I appreciate it. Here I have a question from Activate Mission. Okay, Activate Mission to this same timeline. Holy cow. It's a question about cows, too. That's quite a name. That's one of the longer YouTube names I've heard. Wow. Question, Mitch, do you eat grass-fed or grain-fed beef? I eat grain-fed beef, as do most carnivores. Anybody that makes a huge deal out of that, I think is doing those people who either can't find it or don't want to pay that price for it a huge disservice. And some of the biggest YouTubers, Anthony Chafee eats mostly grain-fed beef he gets from Costco. I'm sure Sean Baker probably has his share too. I eat, except for what Sam's Club calls grass-fed hamburger, and I don't know if that's just some fancy labeling or not, but whatever they call it, I don't think it's like buying from a small rancher or farmer. I don't think it's the same. I just honestly don't think it's the same stuff. I've heard Ken Berry say, and I mean, this guy is a farmer who raises animals. I've heard him say, and I've heard Chafee say, maybe the nutritional difference is maybe 5%. And Ken Berry even goes so far to say that if you have no money and you can't afford much food and you still want to try to be healthy, you're better off if you eat hot dogs and Spam and potted meat, as opposed to eating all of the standard American diet crap with the sugars and the seed oils and the grains. You'd be healthier on a 100% hot dog diet. No matter how much crap they put in it, they still could not make it near as harmful as all that other stuff, if what they have in it at least came from an animal. Even if just most of it came from an animal, you'd be much better off. Question. Chelsea Oates says, what can I do if ground beef is causing heartburn? It also tends to sit like a rock in my stomach. Should I try a lower fat like 80-20 instead of 73-27? Well, you know what I found about that 73-27 stuff is most of the fat when you cook a hamburger, if you fry it in a pan, is going to render out anyway. I tend to kind of pour the fat back over the hamburger to try to get more fat. Chelsea, I can't tell you what's causing your heartburn. I can't even tell you that it's the fat from the hamburger. I don't know what's using, maybe some spices or seasoning on it other than salt. Do you get heartburn from any other foods? Do you get heartburn from a steak or anything else? You have to kind of troubleshoot it. You have to try to find the variable, find the one thing that if you change that one thing, the result is different. That's why kind of the same principle of an elimination diet. If you have a symptom of something and you go on an elimination diet and you go pure carnivore and cut out everything except meat and all your symptoms go away, you still don't know what it was that you were eating that caused that problem. So you can't add two things at a time back in, because if the problem comes back, you won't know which one of those two things it is. And since sometimes it can take a couple of weeks or a month before those symptoms reappear, you'd be back to square one again. So you add one thing at a time and you wait a while. And if the symptoms don't come back, then that's an okay food for you to eat. And I think that if you're getting that kind of heartburn, and it may be something else entirely, if you're not getting that from eating all the other kinds of fat, if you don't get it from bacon, if you don't get it from eggs, if you don't get it from steaks, if you don't get it from butter, and you do just get it from hamburger, I would try a different brand of hamburger to see if there's just something in that ground beef you're buying that is causing your heartburn. But you're going to have to experiment a little. That's all I can say. Unless you have some kind of a esophageal issue, acid reflux, GERD, or something like that, that might require medical attention. And God, you know how much I hate to say you need to see your doctor. But if you watch Ken Berry and these other guys, they're quick with that advice. You need to see a doctor for that. I hate to give that advice to anybody. You just have to find a doctor that's enlightened a little bit. And there's a few of them out there. And if you're like me, you're not afraid of them, and you enlighten them. Something, I'm fearless when it comes to talking to these clowns. There's not one of them I won't call a fool and show them why. So I hope you figure that out. I hope you figure that out. I'm a Paul. So, Ricky Lee says he's a Paul Sardino. Carnivore today, I had a banana. Well, okay. I don't know why. Why'd you feel you needed a banana? But if you could do it and just do it once and then not do it again, it's okay. It's okay. Chafee said he started buying his beef now from Mexico. Okay, great. If he can find one, that's great. There are some people that would rather eat grain-fed beef. I think I'm one of them. Where do you think all that marbling comes from? Doesn't come from a cow eating grass. The marbling comes from when they finish them with grain, because the grains make fat, just like they do in humans. That's how you fatten up an animal. You feed them grains. Wild-caught animals. You go out and hunt wild boar. Those are scrawny, skinny animals. They're eating nothing but roots and vegetation. You want to get a good fat animal, a good fat pig, a good fat cow, well marbled, Wagyu. You got to feed them the grains. Makes the beef tastier as far as I'm concerned. And as far as I'm concerned, the grains are not in the meat. The grains are metabolized and turned into fat, and the fat goes in the meat. You're still eating pure fat. You're not, just because the animal was fed grain, you're not eating grain. Just like the animal was fed grass, you're not eating grass when you eat meat. You're eating the result of what happened to the grass when the cow's machinery went to work on it and turned it into meat and fat. So as far as I'm concerned, and I'm living proof of it, that you can be very healthy and lose weight and be happy eating grain-fed beef. And the more prime the beef is, and the more marbled it is, the harder that kind of beef. And there are people who have eaten grass-fed beef that said there's a distinctive difference in the flavor of the meat, and some people just don't like that. One of these days I'll get my hands on a piece of pure farm-raised grass-fed beef, and I'll tell you what I think. But so far I haven't found any that I know for a fact is legitimately grass-fed. And I keep looking for farmers, and the only ones that I have found are the ones that send you this stuff frozen. They're out of state. They're the big companies that sell on the internet. I'm not going there. Their prices are absurd. I can't afford that. But I'm doing just fine. I'm doing fine. I eat the fish. I eat my chicken wings. And I do fine. I'm just not eating plants and sugar and grains and starch and stuff like that. Peggy Johnson wants to know what's my LDL. My LDL is 340. Allow me to. Let me say that again. My LDL is 340. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. My HDL is over 80. My triglycerides are low. Every other marker I have is right where it is perfect. And my LDL is the reason why I have the energy that I have, why I have the immune system that I have. My LDL is the reason My testosterone is 729. It's the reason at 77 years old, I have no ED. For those of you that don't know what ED is, that's erectile dysfunction. It's all attributable to the fact that my cholesterol is exactly where my ancient programming that has come to me through millions of years of the survival of my ancestors, that programming in my genetics has been passed on to me by survivors. And it's exactly where my body wants it to be, not a point higher or lower. Now, it does go up and down constantly. I mean, you could take another cholesterol test 2 hours after the first one, and it can be 50% different, higher or lower, because that's one of those numbers that just, like blood sugar, constantly fluctuates based on what's going on in your body. When you're a fat burner, you have to transport fat through your bloodstream to power your cells, because you're not burning glucose. Your blood sugar is just kind of tooling along, and your liver is manufacturing whatever glucose your body needs, but not any extra. So you're pretty level. And because your glucose stays flat, so does your insulin. You're not triggering the release of a lot of insulin, the one hormone that just screws up everything. That's caused by eating too much sugar. Screws up everything. Every cell in your body suffers or is disrupted in some way or other by being hyperinsulinemic. That's metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. Everything is screwed up. From your blood pressure to your cholesterol, which is getting glycated, your red blood cells, which are getting glycated, you become a diabetic. It just screws you up, this stuff. We need a certain amount of glucose, and we have the machinery to make it. We need, and I always love it when Bart Kay says, the required daily minimum amount of dietary carbohydrate for the human animal is 0. It's true. I haven't eaten it any other than a gram or two that might come in meat in the form of glycogen, because that's what's in muscle meat, or an egg may have a fraction of a gram of carbohydrate in it. That's fine. But other than the trace carbohydrates that come inherently in meat, I haven't eaten a gram of carbohydrates in 2 years. According to the medical community, it would be how the hell could I get out of bed? How could I have any energy if I don't have sugar? How could I walk 3 miles and talk the whole way and not get out of breath without loading up, carb loading first? How could I do that? That's impossible. Okay, I'm Superman. I'm not from this planet, evidently. Nothing makes sense that they say. Nothing makes sense. And it can't make sense to me because nobody can tell me what I've eaten and what I haven't eaten. I know that for a fact. I've proven it, and so many others have proven it too. So if you're metabolically healthy, if you don't have hyperinsulinemia, metabolic disorder, diabetes, obesity, and all those other things, if you're thin and you have energy and you feel good, and all the rest of your blood numbers, your HDL is high, your triglycerides are low, all that stuff is in line. It does not matter how high your LDL is. Your LDL will be exactly where it needs to be so that there's enough cholesterol and you can transport enough fat through your bloodstream to fuel your body. If you're burning fat, that fat has to get to each cell in your body to be metabolized. It can't be carried raw in the bloodstream like glucose can. It has to be carried in little boats that we call lipoproteins that are water soluble and will dissolve in aqueous blood. And the more fat, the more you're a fat burner, and the more of the fat that you eat and from your body that you're burning, the more lipoproteins you need, the bigger the fleet of trucks or boats or whatever you want to call them you need to carry that fuel. Trying to lower that artificially when you become a fat-burning animal is suicide. It's crazy. And yet they don't understand it. That's called the lipid energy model. Dave Feldman and Nick Norwitz have a lot of videos out about that. I'm convinced that's the way it works because I'm fine. I feel great. I'm an experiment for myself. That's what I tell my doctor. I'm an N of one. Nobody can tell me that I don't feel great because I feel great. Nobody can tell me that I couldn't possibly feel great eating the way I eat because I feel great eating the way I eat. You know, don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what I tell you. Well, sorry. Maybe if you tried, Doc, you wouldn't be 10 pounds heavier every year when I saw you. That sounds cruel, but that's what's happening. So yes, my LDL cholesterol is 340, which is not real high. I saw somebody on Ken Berry the other day. He gets questions where they fill up the box, they fill up the super chat full of numbers, all the different blood results, and they want his opinion. And this person's LDL was 515. And he went over the numbers and that's okay. That could be a little lower. When he got to the LDL, he says, no, everything else is fine. So the 515 LDL didn't faze him at all when he looked at all the other numbers. So I hope that answers that question. I think Mark's adopted me. Do you need another son, Mark? I bought a blood pressure device and a glucose monitor. Not sure if I used your link or not, Mitch. I bought so much shit lately. I imagine. I'm still waiting for you to send me a picture of that computer system you're building to do the trading that you're going to do. I'm fascinated by that stuff. You bought a 3-computer desk. Thank you so much. In a C fashion. Lay out all 8 monitors. Holy shit! I need to see a picture. I need to see a picture of that. I have one of those. If you can see it here, I have one of these U-shaped desks, and this side desk goes all the way back, and it actually becomes a round, almost like a little round conference table with some chairs sitting around it. And on this side, it goes all the way back about 6 feet and butts up to an armoire kind of a thing, and a storage cabinet. So I love these guys. And I have monitors over here. I have a monitor, another monitor back off in this corner. It's crazy. We got a lot in common, my friend. We all want to work for NASA. We want to be in the control room at Houston, surrounded by buttons and screens. I don't know. It could be a sickness. Anyway, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. And we have Spanky Golf Addict. I wish Canada had Sam's, and I wish our Costco had choices like the States have. Way different products and way better choices. Yeah, it's really amazing to me. And thank you so much for that. It's amazing to me that in a country with such a huge border and so many things in Canada that are Americanized, westernized, that there are so many fundamental differences in our two countries. tremendous differences, especially if you're trying to run a business. I know that I've talked to some Canadian businessmen, and I don't know if I could survive with some of the tax laws and ways that the Canadian government does business. But there's some beautiful, beautiful places in Canada. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Always appreciate those. Oh my God, it's almost 5 minutes to 10. Holy cow. We got 118 people in here. Man, for the crappy start, that this got off to, I think it turned into a great time, a great stream. I've had just so much fun, not just lecturing, but interacting with you guys all night. And I think I finally got down to the bottom of the chat here. I don't think I missed any questions with the QQQs. I know there's probably some questions. Papa Carnivore, Mark, thanks you for supporting me and the community. I appreciate that. And I'm thinking about smoking some fish, maybe some salmon, trying to smoke some salmon in the smoker tomorrow. I will affix the name plaque to it and point that out in the video. And I hope I'm gonna try to find a place on there that doesn't get too hot where the adhesive will fail on that plaque. Otherwise, I'll have to drill a couple of small holes in it and put some tiny little sheet metal screws in it. Oh, Knuckles, man, look at this. Knuckles, I'm 28 years old. Nobody's 28 years old. Holy cow, what are you doing here with all us old farts? And I've had a restrictive eating disorder for years. I felt incredibly liberated eating carnivore, retraining my brain and body to just eat whenever I'm hungry. That's great, man. Oh, man. Do you know how many of us old farts wish that this message had been around and available like it is over the internet to those of us when we were 28? When I was 28 years old, I'm trying to think with the technology today. I don't even know if I think we'd gotten away from rotary telephones at the time. And I think we may have had some digital watches, but they were very archaic. And we had calculators, and I think maybe Radio Shack was coming out with their first computers. If I had found carnivore back then, I think my entire life, certainly my health for my entire life, would have been way, way different. I think if the message had been out back then, the propaganda and all of this crap that they keep throwing at us may not have had a chance to even get off the ground, let alone to the epidemic that this misinformation is. Steve Studley tells me I need to buy more Mark Davis badges. Yeah, this place is going to start looking like a church, Mark. Your name's going to be on everything. Tina Cost, California has both Sam's and Costco. I only shop Costco one time a month. I need to go back and reactivate my Costco membership because of I told you that, because of the optics department. Lori Wetzel agrees it was a great live. Thank you so much. I think I got all the questions. Spanky says 59. I guess I'm in the old fart range. You're getting there, man. You're still a child in my eyes. I got almost 20 years on you. That means I could easily be your father. Think about that. I could be your father if I was you know, if I had fathered you at 18 years old, I would be your father. And interestingly enough, my father was 18 years older than my mother. He was 47 when they got married. She was like 20, 26 or 25, somewhere in that. 18 years. They were 18 years apart. He outlived her by 8 years, which he never expected. Steve Sudley says he feels like 28 years old. I do too. I do too. I feel better now than I felt when I was younger. It's amazing. I used to have so much pain in my knees and my back. Used to put on weight so easily. And Steve says, Knuckles, glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too, my friend. I would love to see an audience full of younger people. I think they would benefit so much from this message. So much. Mitch, do you have to walk every day to lose weight? I don't have to do shit to lose weight. I don't do anything to lose weight. I never did anything to lose weight. Not on carnivore. I did it to get healthy. And it's interesting you should say that, because I have 2 pages of notes that I made about ideas for a video, and it's going to come out pretty soon. And the video is going to be about, what are your motives? Why do you want to be a carnivore? And 99% of people answer that question. I want to lose weight and look better. That's not the reason to become a carnivore. You should forget about your weight. You should not even think about your weight. Your weight doesn't matter, doesn't mean shit. You be a carnivore to get healthy, to cure your diabetes, to make your arthritis go away, to let your body work like it's supposed to. And if you go for a year and never give weight, one day you'll wake up skinny and beautiful and wonder, how the hell did this happen? Yes, exercise helps make you healthy. Being healthy and having your metabolism work right and control your appetite. Not your blood sugar level, but your actual genetic programming, controlling your appetite. When your satiety hormones start working right, you will automatically lose the weight. There'll be nothing you can do to stop the weight loss. Walking, I do it 3 mornings a week. I do it because it just makes me feel good and gets me a little bit of exercise. I don't over-exercise. Exercise is the worst way to lose weight. Walk because it when you move, you get healthy. You need to keep moving. And do resistance training too. Maybe build a little muscle. But you don't have to do that. You can lose the same amount of weight if you don't exercise at all. That's the amazing thing about this diet. You can be bedridden and infirm and go on a carnivore lifestyle and lose the same amount of weight as if you went to the gym every day. Maybe more. That's my answer to that. I have a t-shirt that says, I may be wrong, but I doubt it. And I'll stick to that. Matthew Tremblay is back. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Another youngster here in the group. Just gifted 5 private community memberships to some of you. You'll get those. I don't have any control over who gets those gifted memberships, but I'll see some names pop up among the members, and 5 of you are going to get a free membership and for a month. And if you want to keep it up, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But come to the live streams on Thursday and meet the gang. We got a hell of a group of people there. Great, wonderful, wonderful people. Oh, it says here, Apple Smurf got a membership. Julie BME got a membership. Linda Lowry, I don't know any of these people. That's great. YouTube picks. Knuckles got a membership. Hey, Knuckles. You got to do it, man. You got to come in, because you can actually click a link and come right into the chat like a Zoom call with us on Thursday night. And we can meet a 28-year-old, man. You'll be like our grandchild in there. That'd be great. That's great. And unretired carnivore also is gifted a membership. That was great. Thank you, Matthew. Very generous of you, man. All right, my friends, it is after 10 o'clock, and even after the false start, we still got 115 people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for finding this live stream again after the disaster of what the internet did to me when we first started off. I appreciate it. I had a great time. I had a great time tonight. I'm going to get some exit music going here. There we go. And other than making you watch my back for 15 minutes, this live stream's going to go down in history, my friends. I had an absolute ball. You all have absolutely made my day. Oh, there's a question from I Am Judge. How do I join the membership? There's a button on every time, especially on your computer, when you're watching any YouTube video. Right under the title of the video, you'll see a button that says join. You just click that button. It'll take you right to the place where you can join. There's also in the links on every description of every one of my videos that you can click to join the private community if you'd like to. And we'd love to have you. It's growing. We got 165 members now, which is a really good size private community. And Thursday night at 7 p.m., an hour earlier than this live stream, we have a good old time. Sometimes we hardly even talk about carnivore. We just like we have a party, and it's great. But there'll be a lot fewer people there. Any questions that you have in that community, I will never miss a question there. So with that, my friends, going to take a deep breath. I never did get to the bubbly water tonight. With that, I'm going to close it down, say goodnight to you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sticking around. Thanks for all the interaction. Thank you for all of the support and the super chats. That goes without saying. So, with that all being said, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.